Of all the rocks that humans have moved in the history of our existence, this one right here on the roof of the Pharaoh's tomb in the Great Pyramid is the single most amazing. Don't believe me? This is the biggest stone in Stonehenge. It's called the heel stone and weighs an incredible 35 tons. The Sarsans maneuvered it into this spot more than 4,500 years ago. And still, it isn't the most impressive rock in human history. This is the largest Moai statue on Rapa Nui. It weighs a massive 85 tons and was maneuvered into place by the Polynesians living here more than 700 years ago. Archaeologists now believe that teams of pullers moved it by walking it back and forth like this. And still, it isn't the most impressive rock in human history. That's because this huge piece of black granite on the roof of the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid is also over 85 tons, and yet it's more than 200 feet above ground. It's so massive because it had to hold up the entire weight of the pyramid above it. You can see it right here, and why the engineers made it so massive. If it failed, it would have crushed the pharaoh Khufu. But how did they get it there? The Egyptians first sourced it out of this black granite quarry in Aswan. The problem is that Aswan is more than 500 miles from the Pyramid of Giza. To move the massive rock from Aswan to Giza, they sailed it down the Nile in a boat that looked like this, then into the specially constructed harbor at the base of Giza, and unloaded it onto a sledge. The sledge likely looked something like this, with huge teams of pullers and people on the front pouring water onto the track to slicken it. Once the rock was loaded onto the sledge, the pulling team pulled it to the base of the ramp at Giza. The ramp began here at the limestone quarry near the base of the pyramid, then ascended to halfway up. This is the likely ramp design on the Great Pyramid. But because the pharaoh's tomb is less than halfway up, the haulers wouldn't have needed to navigate these tricky turns, but they still would have needed to drag up the 85-ton stone in 11% grade. Even with a mud-slicked ramp, that would have required a pulling team of at least 350 people. Then they maneuvered it into place at the top of the King's Chamber, and most impressively of all, they did it all with open-toed shoes.